So, good morning, everyone. A very warm good morning, and thank you very much for taking out time on Sunday and joining this session. Very interesting session. Chennai chapter is planned today on the very famous and wanted subject of lean, and we have the eminent speaker for this subject, Suda-san and Mr. S.K. Manna. So before handing over the session to Dr. Rajkumar for formal welcome of our speaker of today, I have few requests to make. Other than speakers, all participants are requested to mute their video and audio, please, so that we can have the effective session. Second thing, whenever you have questions, you can type it in the chat box. So when the question answer sessions time will come, we'll take your questions. And okay, if any other queries and all other information will be there, we'll subsequently will share with you guys. So with this, I'm handing over session to Dr. Rajkumar for the formal welcome of Suda-san and Mr. SK. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishwa. Respected National President of ISQ, Mr. Janakji, the Governing Council members, Mr. Prabhakarji, the Executive Director of ISQ Chennai, EC members, ISQ members, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and konnichiwa for Suda-san. Even though it is a Sunday and also a Mahalaya Amavasya day, I think I could see almost 45 plus people are there. I think that shows the interest on the subject, and the knowledge can be gained from any time, any day, anywhere. Thank you for all the participants. I formally welcome Shunsuke Tsuda-san for taking your time to share your experiences on this Toyota production system. And I also formally welcome Mr. Manna-san for joining us today to share the same. I welcome every one of you to be here today to get benefited by this session. And as you all know, Toyota production system has been talked in this part of the country for almost more than a decade. But many have not yet still implemented it fully or realized the benefits fully. I think we are going to hear from the authors who have really implemented, executed, and the book has very clearly mentioned about the tools, techniques, and how this has to be gone through. I think today we'll have a very good session from both Suda-san and Manna-san, and I request every one of you to get benefited, and thank you for being with us today. I welcome every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajkumar sir. Now I'll request Mr. B. Rajkumar for doing the formal introduction of the today's speakers, Suda-san and Mr. S.K. Manna. Rajkumar, please.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. You are able to hear my voice? Hello?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Rajkumar.
Yeah, good morning to all, and thanks, Vishwa. I'm very privileged to introduce the important personalities in the area of manufacturing excellence. I will start with Ms. Suda-san. He is a graduate in mechanical engineering from the Waseda University of Japan, completed his master's in production engineering and automotive components. He has worked in Hitachi overseas production facilities during 1985 to 2007. He is well known in the areas of JIT, TPS, and TPM, etc. He has a rare distinction of introducing these practices in countries like USA, China, Thailand, Germany, United Kingdom, and obviously India. He has been working as a lean management consultant, promoting TPM concepts after his retirement from Hitachi. I'm like others, I'm also eagerly waiting for him, eagerly waiting to purchase a book which he has written. It is now for you to change for the development of Indian industry. Welcome, Suda-san, once again. And also I'd like to introduce one more gentleman, Mr. Samir Kr. Manna. Presently, he is working as the founder director and the CEO of Torque Management Services. He is driving manufacturing excellence and concepts like 5 years TPM, Lean Six Sigma, and TPM concepts. He's been driving this throughout. And he's been a mechanical engineer from Jadavpur University from Kolkata, and with a specialization in the fields of statistical quality control from Indian Institute of Management. A lead assessor of QMS and EMS. He has started his professional career from DHEL in India in 1983 and served a number of private sectors also in the areas of automotive, general engineering, and electrical and electronics. He has started the Torque Management Services in 2010, and he has done a lot of success in terms of turning around in the manufacturing sectors and also third-party logistics. This is a short introduction about both of the gentlemen. So over to both of them now, and I think we are going to have a very interesting session as Mr. SRK was indicating. So let us wait and let us listen patiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajkumar. I think, yes, we all are eagerly waiting for this session. So we are now handing over the session to Suda-san and Mr. Manna. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, the whole team of ISQ and President Dr. Rajkumar and Mr. Matthews, Mr. B. Rajkumar, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Pakistan, Prabhu Settikar, and everybody in today's session. I am very pleased to share, which you already may be knowing, that based on our work experience, we thought we should bring out our experience available through some book, and it is the book which we have been feeling from the core of the heart, which really provide the necessary guidance in a very amenable manner. The book was in Japanese language. Then it was inspiration by Mr. Tsuda. By spending about 7-8 years in India, he thought that this is the book which may give a real direction to the practitioner to introduce this system in an effective way in the respective organizations. And I am basically a disciple of Mr. Tsuda. Whatever I learned through him. He is my mentor, and I was privileged to work for a long time directly under his guidance. And then I started slowly understanding the true meaning. First, what is 5S? Then what are the criticality and importance of 7 wastes, and how to drive continuous improvement in a very simplistic way in engaging the people. So when he proposed to me that he wants to really come out with this book in English language, and then he thought that perhaps I'll be a person who can help him to give it a proper shape. Then I thought it's a big privilege to me, and I say immediately we thought that we should work on it. And the whole of COVID year we worked, and we make that time really devoted for these activities. Now I will request Suda-san to share about the subject matter of data production system or TPM to the galaxy of the people of all of you, and take you through the very short journey of what we initiated. Over to Suda-san. Thank you.
Okay. I want to use this PowerPoint.
Yeah, but
Yes, sir, you can. Yes, it's visible.
You can see?
Yes, sir.
Can you see?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay. Thank you very much today. I'm happy to have a opportunity to talk to you about the book I translated. This is my self-introduction, but someone very kindly introduced me better than I. I skip this one. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me continue. Okay. I am sure most of you, maybe all of you, are eager to make your organizations more competitive. Every manufacturing company is always forced to compete with others. The competition is not only limited to manufacturing, but today, let me focus on manufacturing industry. A lot of top managements try to introduce some methods or tools to gain competitive power. There are some methods as TPS, TPM, TQM, Six Sigma, etc. I will speak of TPS today though. There are a few companies that are becoming effective to introduce such a system. But there are a lot of companies that are struggling to gain fruits. These methods are not as different as it may sound. According to me, the content of all methods is much the same. The difference is in the point on which a specific system focuses. TPM is the part of TPS and focuses on machine operation. A good product creates profit is the philosophy behind TQM. And a good product to make profit is Six Sigma. Any method can produce fruit if only it is followed as instructed obediently. The competitiveness power of manufacturing companies is achieved through cost reduction and service enhancement. The customer won't buy your cheap product if it is of low quality. The customer will live away from you if you are always making excuses when the customer is in trouble. It is very important for you to think in the customer's shoes. These things you understand very well. I dare say only a few of you understand this fact logically. Why don't you check if all employees of your company are behaving like they are in the customer's shoes? We can call this as a diagnosis of factory or company. There are a lot of check sheets available. The check sheet that is being used in TQM is very useful. In my opinion, what is most important to make your company competitive is education of your employees. Regarding education, it is not effective unless the top management make plans deliberately. In Japan, we say the enterprise is human. We are very eager to educate our employees. The point we have to teach them is not knowledge, but a way of thinking, or in other words, the philosophy of the company. You must teach them that the workers and everyone in the company have to behave always keeping customers in mind. Here, you should recognize that the customer means not only the end user, but the next process. The superior of the company can be the customer. This is not limited to the manufacturing division, but also indirect service divisions as well. It is quite important to work deliberately, constantly thinking of who you are working for. I often hear a lot of top managements in India, maybe in other parts of the world too, want to introduce Kanban or Pokayoke. I think it does not make sense if they just want to introduce without the knowledge about advantages and disadvantages or limitations of Kanban and the associated difficulty and the underlying conditions to perform or practice. You should keep in mind that Pokayoke might make a worker careless. They are much like knives or guns. You should know the wrong handling causes problems. When top management thinks that TPS is a good device or a magic hand and buy it and hand it over to his subordinates, he can never expect any fruits from it. The subordinate who understand the TPS less than the top management cannot execute. The failure to implement a method like TPS is caused by its insufficient study and negligence of the top management. But in the company who succeeds to implement the method, the top management demonstrates its strong leadership. This has the potential to bring ideas of Kaizen that are far better than a consultant may suggest. A strong leadership makes a lot of good sense among its employees. All employees look forward to the direction of the top management. They thus become very eager to improve continuously. The result in such cases are checked constantly by the top management. However, the top management should keep in mind that there are two factors about Kaizen. There are Kaizens in which you can get fruits quickly. Also, there is another kind in which you can get fruits gradually over the period of time. The one you can get fruit quickly is like in cases of the reduction of inventory and defect, as you know. But the one where it takes some time to get fruits is the process improvement, like increasing the efficiency or productivity. Supposing you have succeeded to reduce workforce on a process. You cannot get the fruit unless you lay off some workers. However, the top management who tries to do kaizens in order to lay off the workers never succeeds. It is because the organization power decreases by reducing workforce. The fruit of process improvement will come out when your production increases, because you don't need to increase the workforce. The workers who become surplus have a chance to enhance their talents, and consequently, there is a clear possibility of increase in the organizational power. By your education to your workers, it is quite possible that every worker keeps the rules. Every worker shows eagerness to find the problems of the rules. Every worker becomes active to propose Kaizen. And the manager starts listening to workers' voice eagerly. Managers jointly with workers check the impact of any proposal. And the managers arrive at an estimate of the worth of the Kaizen. I am a consultant of TPS. I have studied TPS reading Toyota Production System by Taiichi Ono and introduced TPS in the company I had worked for. Toyota Production System, comprehensive from theories to technique by Shigenori Kotani, has been found as the best guide for me to understand and introduce TPS. I thought English version of this book would be useful for Indian managers to learn TPS. This is why I decided to translate the book into English. I hope a lot of managers and supervisors who are eager to do management revolution and enhance production efficiency keep this book at the side and use it for education and reference. However, it is very difficult for you to understand my English because I am Japanese. I have not been brought up in the world of English. You might misunderstand what I want to say. My clumsy English was corrected by Samir K. Manna, who is one friend of mine and a consultant of TPS. He has been working with me for a long time, and he knows what I'm thinking. Probably the book will be able to go down with the readers. I believe SK Manna must have found something while translation. You would be happy to listen to him. My speech is the finish. I transfer to SKM's speech. Thank you very much. Finish.
Thank you, Sudasan.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody. I think I will try to take you through the story of Toyota, how in fact they become a role model to the world in a very simplistic way, as I have understood. It is more like a story because it is Sunday morning. I will try to keep you engaged in an enterprising way through discussion. So at the end of the session, I think we can take any queries you may be having. It's okay?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Let me try to share some points that have been very vividly explained and discussed in the book just released. At the very initial stage of Toyota, you can say at its formative years, in Japan, about the passenger cars, the preference was to import. The reason behind that was that indigenous cars were not at all cost competitive. It is at that point of time, somewhere around in 1950s, Toyota took up the challenge to overcome this kind of barrier. And meanwhile, they had been running their textile companies quite successfully. And they took their first lesson from their own textile unit. In that unit, a young girl used to take charge of several machines. Are you all hearing? Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
please. Yes, please.
A young girl used to take charge of several machines, and this was made possible uh, because they could innovate and they fixed some attachment to their G type of automatic weaving machines. And this innovation made it possible to stop the machines at its own in the event of breakage of any string. So this way they could avoid engaging operator in each machine. Instead, several machines, for several machines, one operator could manage. And this was the basic concept of automation. You know, it is automation. It is not automation, it is automation. It means some small attachment which is like giving functioning like a human intelligence. Thereby, one can avoid lot of use of manpower. Then they observed there was a phenomenon at that time which was largely responsible for their low productivity. The phenomena has been popularly known as month-end intensive production system. This was prevailing because of the uneven or lopsided material flow conditions. And they started working on it very seriously, and this had led to the development of the concept of just-in-time availability of materials, that too directly at the production line. Earlier they used to collect material through their warehouses. So this kind of shift in approach of production management, it is learned, had led to almost 5 to 6 times improvement in the productivity in perhaps about 5 years persistent efforts. So this is how they got a conviction that how just-in-time concept can create wonder for improvement in the productivity of the manufacturing system. Toyota emphasized a lot on the development of the talent. As Mr. Tsuda was telling, that having known philosophy of what we want to do as directed by the top management, the most important is then how to translate those things into the work. And for that, Toyota emphasized a lot on the development of the talent, and extraordinary efforts put up by the people had led to the development of a very effective communication system in the company by the name of Kanban system. This turned out to be a most powerful tool to deal first the complex production system of car manufacturing, and second in meeting the fluctuating market demands. And this system complemented nicely to practice just-in-time production method without a lot of inventories and ensuring a very excellent customer service. Thus, Toyota could have two things. Number one, they had continuously better business levels. And number two, there was significant improvement in the cash flow level. Now, both these helped the company to garner necessary support in its formative years when they need to plow this lot of investment for gradual organizational developments. So this way, Toyota could become self-sufficient. Instead of they become a debt-oriented company, they started earning and plowing that money for their growth and upgradation. Subsequently, Toyota, in the process, realized another matter of fact, and they started amongst them discussing that they must be wasting a lot. When they compared the productivity with the waste, they thought they are almost 1/10 of the productivity of what at that time maybe 4 years they have been achieving. So the root cause behind that, they could pinpoint that there must be a lot of waste. So this kind of realization finally led to the defining 7 different kind of waste and creating a kind of awareness revolution within the company just to make a war to eliminate waste. And the pool of talented people which would relentlessly work to identify various kind of wastes and eliminate the same. The crux here, the learning point is that team should be so innovative that in the day-to-day work, the team should be able to identify the room for improvement or the kind of abnormalities. That should be the starting point, and that they did. And they kept on doing kaizens after kaizens through activating all level of people, including their workforce. Their biggest success has been that they could use the workforce like a true human being, like the managers who also have who have to use their hands also, brains also. And thereby, to the surprise of the entire world, soon they become a kind of market leader and has become known for its quality, cost competitiveness, services, whatnot. But all this took about 2 decades to mature the entire systems, which later on worldwide become famous as Toyota Production Systems, or sometimes at some countries it becomes commonly known as lean manufacturing systems. During these 2 decades, they developed the entire systems within the organization, as well as they extended these systems to their outsourcing partners too. Their idea was that without extending the whole efforts to cover up the outsourcing partners, full benefits cannot be extracted. So they deployed their talented people to help develop systems in outsourcing partners too. Now, by this, perhaps you could guess that in Toyota Production Systems, there are 3 critical pillars of the whole systems. The pillars are number one is just-in-time manufacturing. Number 2 is automation. Please mind that it is not automation, it is automation. And number 3 is the Kanban systems. So these forms the most critical arms of Toyota Production System. And Toyota realized or faced the following kind of market scenario. Number one, they realized that the change of market demand is quite intense, and number two is that life cycle of a product is becoming extremely short. So under such conditions, they realized that there was a necessity to break away from the prevalent popular systems of mass production to secure cost competitiveness. So to meet such kind of challenging necessity, these three pillars came very handy. It made it possible to produce and supply cars in just-in-time basis with zero defect quality. Thus, reduction of lead time became one of the prime most mottos of Toyota production system. Now, I think when Taishi Uno at his advanced age, I think he was sharing with some journalists on their questions that what he was doing at that time when he was around 90s. His reply was that I am trying to find out ways and means of how to reduce the lead time. Now we can understand that the seriousness of reduction of the lead time in companies like Toyota. To achieve cost competitiveness, they focused on zero work in progress inventories and effective use of all kind of resources, eliminating waste as much as possible. This war is interestingly perhaps still on at Toyota even at present. Now let's go into a little bit of technicalities. Now, most important point could be that what has been the typical strategy of production management systems in Toyota, which help them to achieve constantly higher productivity. Now, due to fluctuating demand patterns, Toyota found a very sure shot solution to maintain this kind of productivity level. They adopted as much as possible. There is a very, very key concept which is known as flexible manpower flow production systems. Now, important point is that we may have been doing, a lot of us may be doing in India some kind of flow production system, may not be ideal, but approximately maybe flow production systems. But flexible manpower flow production systems comes much handy to handle the fluctuating demands scenario, which is unavoidable. Now for that, what they did, they went for extensive multi-skilling, and in fact, in their terms, it is multi-process handling by operators. The fundamental philosophy was to deploy manpower in the production line or in a cell according to the required production rate at a given point of time. For example, if in a line, some 10 people are engaged to produce 2,000 numbers of some product. Now, if the demand reduced to say 500, 1,000, then their concept is that for 1,000 produced, 50% manpower also they can reduce. So 10, instead of 10, they can deploy 5 manpower to produce 10,000. So thereby, they ensure that there is no pressure on or downtrend on the productivity level. So for this, they inculcated a culture called move and work. In fact, ideally, the aim of Toyota company is that each operator should be able to perform all the operations in a given line. So this kind of efforts help them to avoid any drop in productivity level, even when there is maybe a recession period. So there are many aspects, but to do that, it is not only that move and work. To make that moving and work possible and flexible manpower possible, so they adopted many different things, which are different arms of Toyota manufacturing systems. I will name some of those kind of techniques. Number one, they have gone for as much as possible process-based cellular production lines. Number two, they adopted pool systems of manufacturing producing products on single part flow basis. Number three, there no work in process inventories to be left in between the processes. So they needed to do a lot of work balancing so that there is no work in progress, as well as there is no waiting by the operators and wastage. Then they believed in zero defect. For that, they gone for building quality into the process and thereby ensuring 100% inspection during the process. When each operator can understand all the operations of the line, the beauty of this kind of situation is that every operator can check what has been done by the previous operation very effectively. So thereby, the operators took up not only the responsibility of productions, also the responsibility of the inspections. So their belief is that they must not limit their production systems or their aim to the 6 sigma level of quality. In fact, they feel that even 3 or 4 ppm defect level is not acceptable, because that those 3-4 customers in a million will have a permanent negative impression about the company, and that's not at all a good practice. So they have been targeting that absolute zero defect. So next point is that they attached a lot of importance of material flow and material distribution systems. So no operator is supposed to either wait for material or get into engage to collect materials. So they effectively used a very simple system, like in our household use of gases, we use 2 cylinders. So they simply, before going extensive Kanban, this first just gone into the system called 2-bin systems. So there are water spiders. Specially, water spiders are nothing but specially trained material handlers who follow certain route and timing, and they supply the material on the trigger that the moment there is one bin become vacant. So this kind of effective water spider systems, independent of the operators who are working on the workstations. Then the other part, most important, is that quick setup and changeover. It was a need because today it is most important that one has to able to produce in short batch sizes, but more varieties. This is the current key to success in ruling the market. So to make that happen, the most important barrier was that setup, because the moment there is a changeover, there used to be a lot of time losses. So they worked on very strongly on quick setup, and they gone for machines or mechanisms where they can even go for blink setup. Blink setup is not even set up within a minute. Then they gone for not for very special purpose machines. They have emphasized for low cost general purpose machines, so that a general purpose machine has an advantage that it can be used for many models. So instead of model wise different machines, they gone for general purpose machine, that thereby they could keep their investment also at very optimum level. Now they did emphasized on Kaizens. Now Kaizens, their main emphasis has been that work simplifications. Make the work so simple that it will be very difficult to do a mistake. And of course, elimination of the waste. Then they go for very extensive cycle time study and improvement of cycle time study to match with the tag time so that they can make balanced production through line balancing according to the tag time. So thereby avoiding many wastes in the process. Then of course, the other point, when they work for zero defects, they have worked for two things. One is that mistake proofing or Pokayoka. Wherever possible, they have gone for mistake proofing and Pokayoka. And second is the automation for zero defect. Automation is of two kinds. One is that automation by certain mechanism, automatic mechanism, that if something goes wrong in any of the process, the whole line gets stopped. Or even in case of manual assembly lines, they had empowered operation systems so that if anywhere any problem is there, the entire line gets stopped and immediately all the people focus to solve the problems and restart instead of building inventory in the previous processes. Then they have gone for 100% operational availability of any equipment. Their belief is that if a human body can be maintained without any trouble by looking into the body with little care, then why not machines can be taken care of with zero breakdown at when the machine is required. Now, that does not mean that machine will not be down. Machine will be down, but it has to be done in a planned manner such that when the machine is required, never there is an interruption because there is trouble in the machines. This is basically the TPM concept. Then of course their belief is that for everything to be done in an appropriate manner, top class 5S and visual management. So everything to be visible. If inventory is more, it has to be visible. If somebody is waiting for something, it should be visible. So when things become visible, it becomes very easy to take actions. So their supervision becomes effective through top class 5S and visual management. And there is a saying in Toyota is that 5S inspection. In fact, they say that 5S supports to achieve zero defect. Their thinking is that when a newborn baby, when mother bathing her regularly, if there is some pimples or something, automatically mother's attention will go and she will try to think that why this abnormality, and she will immediately act to fix that. So that means that if we touch the machine and every day, then what will happen? Any abnormality will come to surface without saying. So this is the kind of sensitivity of the 5S level required everywhere in the organizations. Of course, already we have touched upon that Kanban is the basis of the production plan. They follow largely the replenishment plan based on the pool systems. Planning is not fed from the primary processes. Planning is flown from in a downward way from the assembly lines. So what is being taken by customers, then that is being filled. This is the replacement process. Thereby they can avoid lot of complex planning systems and deployment of large computers to make planning and having a number of staffs and production management. So instead, it almost becomes like a very streamlined planning automatic communication system. Now there is, for all this system, there is a continuous performance evaluations and the belief in recognition and a reward which keeps people energized and motivated. Then They attach utmost importance on education. Their belief is that effective training and development of people can do wonders. Then another point is that they believe in self-actuations rather than passing on the instruction to the employees. In other words, they believe in having empowered people so that there is a very nominal requirement of passing on the management instructions. So no central administration is required in such a situation. Everything is work at its own in a very decentralized way. Now let's take a situation if single part flow system is not possible. As we all know, there are certain processes like heat treatment, forging, painting. There are certain processes where we have to tolerate a bit of batch and queue production system. But in this, what Toyota did, they kept on focusing on reducing the lot size. Now, how they did this? They kept on working on the shortening of the setup time, because generally setup time dictates the amount of the lot. Now, if setup time reduced from say 1 hour to half an hour, so definitely half the lot size become economically justified. So their aim is that reduce by half, then by half, then by half to the maximum practical extent. Then what they did, because in the entire car manufacturing or in any manufacturing systems, there could be some of the processes which are batch and queue or lot production system. Some systems could be flow production, single part flow production. Pardon? Are you anybody trying to say something? Hello.
No, I think that is by mistake. You can continue, Manna sir.
Okay. So in an organization, it is likely that there will be two kinds of systems. Some will be ideally flow production systems, and some could be lot production or batch and queue production systems. Now, Toyota evolved effective mechanism to integrate both the systems, and they call it synchronized production. Their aim, ultimate aim has been to maintain an inventory level as low as possible, and at the same time, there should not be any loss of time in waiting for materials. It is a very popular belief in Toyota is that inventory is devil. Now one may ask question that why inventory is called devil? Why not rejection is devil? There are 7 different wastes. Why not motion is called devil? Why not process waste is a devil? Why inventory is devil? Why not waiting is a devil? Now I would have gone for a debate on this involving all of you, but due to the shortage of time, let me give you a hint that inventory is devil, because that when there is an inventory, it tends to make us lazy. At the end of the shift, if there is a problem and if there is inventory, what we generally do, we go home at ease thinking that there are inventories to take care. But believe me that in Toyota, they are much tougher on these situations. Their attitude is that no problem can be left alone. What can be discussed and fixed today for tomorrow. So for that, driving force is that inventory is not available to run the productions. Then what will one will do? Even a manager or senior manager has to stay back to see to it that problem is fixed then and there. So since inventory tends to make human asset lazy, they call it is the biggest waste or the most serious waste, and their term is inventory is devil. Now, one may wonder how a company can remain on top so long. Definitely, it is a matter of deep thought, because we know that sometimes in our own professional career that we achieve an excellent level, but the moment there is little slackness, things again come back to not lower position. If not its original position, maybe lower positions. But Toyota, it has been continuous upward trend. Now, how they could remain like this? So, at Toyota, there has been constant drive for continuous improvement by engaging people at all levels, because they never feel that some level we have achieved, let's move on to another line. This line we have already achieved. They never have this kind of feeling. They always feel that whatever level has been achieved in whatever production line, it has still can be improved, and it must be improvement must be on. So this continuous improvement, right, drive in true sense, help them to remain on the top, always ahead of the competition. So they keep on doing kaizens for this, as well as they have something called special improvement drive, because they strategically prepares their bright employees for taking up special projects. They train them separately, and they can take up projects which required a higher level of expertise in terms of analysis. It could be statistical analysis, it could be management analysis, but they have all those. They are all, armed with those kind of expertise. So when there is any kind of recession in the market demand or low requirement, production requirements, so they never adopt a practice of retrenching or reducing people. Instead, they try two things. Number thing is that they try to take surplus people, educate them, and try to make them more more value adding kind of situation. And the second thing, they try to engage them any other value added improvement activities. So there, because of this kind of attitude by the Toyota management, among the employees, there has been a tremendous sense of commitment. And this has led to what we call a culture of continuous improvements. In fact, sometimes back when I was having some informal dialogue with Mr. Tsuda, he was telling that a company who stops continuous improvement cannot keep its present situation for a long time. It is likely that gradually this company's situation will fall. But so therefore, it is a precondition that if a company has to adopt Toyota production system or lean manufacturing system to become a productive company, the crux is that the basic point is that it must have must create a base of continuous improvement before even jumping into adoption of these new systems. And they constantly emphasize on identifying the root cause of any problem and acting upon it. And they prefer to use simple tools like why analysis instead of what we sometimes very complicated way we use AT and other fashionable tools. But they simply use why analysis. Another point that has been important is that Toyota has been constantly working on another aspect of production. They call it labeled productions. I hope some of you might have heard the name of labeled production. The meaning of labeled production is that in a week, every day, if all the models to be produced in the same production rate without any change, you must be. It is very difficult to even imagine, because the market situations may be fluctuating, but even then, what we can do to ensure that at least within a week, there should not be any change in the production plan in any of the day. Now, Toyota found ways and means to practice that. In fact, they felt that to effectively deploy Kanban systems, one of the preconditions is that they should be able to follow as much as labeled production systems. Now, this labeled production system, how it helped the organization is that the operators' work become very much easier. Their planning remain in their mind for the entire week. They do not look out for any instruction. They start working almost like a rhythm, and they know the sequence of what model to be taken up after what model. So this is how they could avoid a lot of confusions and mistakes in the floor level management. So I hope I have been able to take you through some stories about how Toyota culture got philosophically developed into very deeper systems. Before ending, let me share that all the good things, whatever being done wherever, it has to be practically driven by the humans behind the scene. So to have an activated and energetic team of the employees, Toyota put a lot of emphasis on the things like, number one, they are first and foremost important is that the work environment has to be very vibrant, safe, and positive. They attach it. Every employee has to have mindset improvements by going for awareness revolution. The awareness about the fact that whatever today one may be doing is that is not the best. This is the awareness. And third thing is that 5S and visual control every time and all the time. And fourth is that constant education and guidelines, as Mr. Sudha has emphasized, it is about the way of the thinking and it is about the philosophy of the working. And fifth is the empowerment of the people at all levels and award and recognitions. Definitely that is performance based. At Toyota, employees and another very critical, I say last but not the least kind of point is that generally we try to attach a lot of importance to customers and the factory gate from where customer enters or the office from where customer enters, we try to decorate that gate or office very nicely. Whereas there may be another gate which are often used for our own employees or suppliers personnel. So we generally try to give a lesser importance. But in Toyota, it is never, there is no lesser importance for employees and suppliers as compared to the customers. Thereby they practically follow the principle of respect to humanity in letter spirit. But when they are used to have any productivity improvement, they never thought of reducing surplus manpower. Instead, they engage them in constructive way till the time they get an opportunity to use those people for expanded requirements. In the time of expanded requirements, they genuinely utilize this manpower by minimizing the fresh intake. But they have patience to not to get rid of some surplus employees immediately. They keep that, nurture them, develop them better, and they utilize them as soon as new project or expansions come into existence in the organizations. So they utilize them. At that time, they go for least amount of the fresh intakes. To conclude, I should say, to do all these things, what has been actually done by the Toyota management. The top management, the learning is that top management must lead from the front. They must have a very strong resolve to make a wholesome reform in the organizations. Also, they must keep repeating such resolve in every possible opportunities. It is our feeling that the readers of the book which we have just released may learn a lot about what all I have discussed to make such a transformation possible in their respective organizations. And in the book, all these things have been dealt in a much deeper manner with lot of live examples. So with this, I welcome any questions or anything, or I end my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Manna sir. Thank you, Sudasan. I think in quite detail you have explained various tools and techniques of lean manufacturing. And in the context of your presentation, yes, definitely we have certain questions. May I request participants to mute their mic, please? Thank you. Sir, we have some questions available in our chat box. I'll share with you one by one. One of our participants, he's asking, can you throw some lights on one-touch exchange of die type of changeover mechanism? Samir sir, am I audible?
What is the question?
Sir, he wants to know about the OTED type of changeover mechanism, one-touch exchange of die.
Sudarshan, I think it is same as like blink changeover.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't follow the question. I didn't follow the meaning of question.
So Sudarshan, the point is that there is a known name is that SMED, single minute exchange exchange of time. But further to that, there is an advanced situation that is one touch
changeover. Exchange of die. Yeah.
Yeah, it is extension of further improvement over the single minute exchange of die.
Single minute.
Yeah. We have been, we used to discuss about that blink start, a 3-minute start like that.
And what is the meaning of the question? Any meaning of 1 minute?
No, sir. I think participants want to understand about this concept in brief.
It is about quick setup.
Yeah, quick setup. There are many techniques there. But in the book, you can read the book. Too short time to explain all of the quick changeover. Like a no bolt or okay, just a preparation or parallel work or such and such. There are a lot of things. If you give me a chance to make a lecture, I can do a 1-hour lecture also.
Okay, I think that would be a great idea.
Anyway, there are some techniques there. But depend on the situation of your conference, your environment, okay, industry, like from a big size industry to a small size industry or such.
Right. Thank you, Sudarshan. I think we can move to the next question, which is related to multi-skilling, and he wants to understand in a flexible manpower production system, building a multi-skilling within a set of small group of manpower is quite challenging. So, what sort of factor to be focused to have effective multi-skilling?
What is the focus?
Sir, what is the focus area to have effective multi-skilling?
What not special, right? Any shop can do that.
He's asking when the manpower is short, the group
might
is short.
Some special shop, however, but almost all shops can do that. Because this is how to say from single skilled person to multi skilled person. If this job can be done only a person, Okay, this job can be done B person. You know, one person can do A job, B job, or such and such. Not a special. If you have a shop, the shop contains there are some processes. Okay, in this case, if one person can do every process, okay. If small volume, okay, only one person can do in the shop. Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
I point is that hi, Vishwa and others. The point is that every person has to be gradually trained on the job for all the different operations. So, and one there has to be a kind of structured method to be developed as it suits for the company. Like in some companies like Maruti, they follow a dojo training system. So there, in an operator is given training all multiple operations and other systems. So one a company has to have a dedicated system to develop this kind of training, and this is how gradually it is possible.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving to the another question, which talk about the there is lack of smoothness between the customer, manufacturing company, and the supplier. So, like in this kind of environment, how to make the process smooth? How to make the alignment between the manufacturing company to its supplier and customer and then manufacturing organization?
Can I answer? Can I answer?
Please,
Yes, sir.
Sudarshan.
Yes. Yes.
Just as the Toyota is doing very nice communication between the customer and the manufacturer and the supplier. Always good communication and very how to say dense communication. For example, every day, and Toyota take care of customer. Toyota take care of supplier. Supplier thinking of Toyota. In such a situation, such a relationship, if you can make it, you can do. Okay.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
I'm afraid you understand that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question, where participants want to know what are the factors to bring focus to ensure a rhythmic cycle at manual operation mode and semi-automated type of manufacturing cycles.
Hmm? Mana-san.
Yeah.
Mana-san, what is the question?
Question is that when in manufacturing line has a manual or semi-automatic kind of,
Semi-automated.
Okay.
in such circumstances, how to have the work rhythm among the operators?
Talk to time there. Talk to time.
Check time.
Talk to time. Well, you can make a talk to time because of calculation of today's production. Okay. In this case, you have to make a cycle time is a 60 second. Everybody should do cycle time. If one person 30 minutes in this case, okay, in this case, this person have to do two processes.
My experience is
Either manual or semi-manual can do. Or next step is the cellular assembly. This is easier to do. Or can you follow me? No.
hello.
This is not the seminar about the detailed things. I am willing to tell you about the in detail. Not today.
So I think
Yes, sorry, sir.
we have got
Yeah.
some hints of the answer to your question. Hints is that every time we have to keep an eye on cycle time and relation between cycle time and takt time. And if in any process takt time is cycle time is more than the takt time, then that process has to be simplified or divided among more than one operators. Or if some cycle time is much lesser than the takt time, then one can club the operations. So this is how the balancing can be done, so that every operator is engaged approximately 100% time. Okay.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So I think we can accommodate one more question. Uh, so that question is related to the main challenges for small and medium enterprises of India about the implementation of TPS, Lean, or Six Sigma, etc. What sort of challenges you could experience while implementing this kind of tools like TPS, Lean, Six Sigma in small and medium type of industries in India?
Questionが何?
Manna sir,
The example.
Manna sir,
Should I try to answer this question? So Sudarshan, I think you have to further complement over it. During the process of our involvement in various industries, so we have been facing several kind of areas of concern to have a smooth drive of improvement or implementing the Toyota production kind of system. And first and foremost of which is 5S. Now, most of the cases there is problem of staffs and top persons not fully engaged into such activities once undertaking the drive, and sometimes there are small resource requirements would be there, so they get stuck up in small resources. Even if some rack to be made or some some lightweight trolleys to be made, now some of the things, physical changes require some of the things, so sometimes they get stuck up. So not that they are not able to do, but that what we have been trying actually. What we do, we take a small area as a model area, and that area we try to see that how first is 5S improvement, then how the reform in the line, alignment of the things, material flow systems. So when everything we do, how this impact in terms of production capacity, production and productivity. So soon they see a lot of advantage of that, and that help them to get undertake the further drive in the organizations. And that's the way it is possible to penetrate in small and medium-sized organizations.
Thank you so very much, Manna.
Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tsuda-san and Manna-san.
It's okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Correct, sir. Correct. Meanwhile, I'll request Manna-san if you can post the details of your book to a chat section so that people can refer to it. And okay, with this request, now I'm handing over session to Mr. BSR for delivering the word of thanks to our eminent speaker for the day, Tsuda-san and Mr. SK Manna. BSR sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, Tsuda-san, once again.
Hi.
First of all, a big thanks to both the eminent speakers for sparing their valuable time, and as often said already, that too on a Sunday, to share with us very profound knowledge about
Muting, right?
BSR sir?
Muting.
interruption. Am I audible?
Now you are audible.
Vishwa? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Sorry, there is a problem. So, big thanks to both of you for sparing your valuable time and sharing some profound knowledge about TPS. Tsuda-san, your introduction to TPS by saying that the most important factor in the understanding and implementation of TPS is the TPS thinking way. I think that's one of the biggest lessons that we will carry forward, because tools and techniques do not make up TPS. We have heard this often, and coming from a sensei like you, it really gives more credence to that statement, and we will definitely keep this in mind. The second most important factor that personally I could register from this thing is your humility. There is this thing in our culture also, that the more learned you are, the more humble you become, and that we could see a reflection in your comments in your opening thing after you presented the outline of the TPS. The facts that you mentioned showed your humility and your great depth of understanding of the subject. So thank you so much, Tsuda-san, once again on behalf of ISQ.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Big thanks to Manna ji also. Your handling of the session, Manna ji, was like taking us through an underground aquarium. TPS is a huge subject. It's like an ocean where you can find a lot of beautiful fish. And what Manna ji did today was taking us through this aquarium, pointing out to us the most important fishes that were there for us to understand, admire, and therefore get the energy or the curiosity to learn more and implement. So thanks a lot. There were many, many good points that we have noted, and we sure look forward to a reading of your book and understanding TPS bit by bit as it should be understood, and more by doing, understanding, and improving, doing the PDCA on TPS. So thanks a lot so much. Thanks also to all the participants. Thanks to the GCC members, to all of you for attending this session and making this Sunday a good one for the Chennai chapter, for having taken this initiative. It is your participation that gives us energy to look for more such eminent speakers and sessions. Thanks a lot and have a great day, whatever is left of it. Thank you.
Thank you so
Back
much.
to you.
Just a small point that Mr. Tsuda has been operating from Japan nowadays, and
Okay.
in a year, few times he traveled to India on the call of various industries. So,
Okay.
and he comes. He is running an organization called ST Tsuda and Associates, and I am running in India, Torque Management Services Limited, and he operates in India through my platform. So,
Okay.
in case there is any interest from any organizations for getting things from the, through the horse's mouth, then such kind of visit can be organized and through Torque Management. And of course, I am available for anything to be can be done in a whatever way possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manna ji.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the time to conclude our session for today. Thank you everyone to join us, and looking forward for the same participation in our forthcoming sessions too. Thank you very much again, and enjoy your Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Sudha
Bye,
san.
everyone.
Thank you.